Hi, my name is Robin, and welcome to English Grammar Now. Today, we're going to be talking about the words some and any. Some and any are both determiners, like words we have already studied, an, and the, as well as this, that, these, and those. We use some and any with plural nouns or non-count nouns. So, we don't use them with singular nouns or countable nouns that are singular. So, for example, we could say the information, or we could say some information. Information is a non-count noun, so we can use some or any with this noun. We could also say these flowers, any flowers, or those babies, some babies. Because flowers and babies are both countable but plural, then we can use some or any with them. Some is generally used in a positive statement. So, in a sentence where there is no not, we use it to describe an indefinite number of things. So, we're using it to talk about a group of things, but we're not saying how many there are. Here's some examples of using some. I met some friends on the weekend. If you say this sentence, you're not saying how many friends. You could replace some with a number and say, I met 4 friends on the weekend. But using some allows us to not say the number. Another example. They told us there's been some problems with the house. There's some ice in the fridge. And one more. I don't have any photos, but I think my mom has some. In this last example, we didn't put the noun after some, which is possible because there's already a reference to this noun in the sentence. We know that it's talking about photos. I don't have any, but my mom has some photos. However, we don't need to repeat the noun in this sentence. Now, when we use any, we are usually using it in a negative statement. So, in a sentence that has not somewhere in it. And it's also referring to an indefinite number of things. Here's some examples of that. I didn't see any friends on the weekend. They told us there aren't any problems with the house. There isn't any ice in the fridge. My mom took photos, but I don't have any. Now, because we're talking about not having something, it doesn't make sense to give a number either. We wouldn't say, I didn't see 2 friends on the weekend. So that's why we use any to say that there is no number. It's a negative sentence because there aren't any. Any can also sometimes be used in a positive statement, but the meaning is a little different. If we're using any in a positive statement, it means that it does not matter which. So we could say a sentence like this: I'll take any flavor of ice cream, which means I would take this one, or this one, or this one, or any of them. All are okay for me. Another example. We could choose any of these puppies. There is no restrictions. Does not matter which one we choose. Here's some sentences for you to practice. Choose some or any to put in each of these blanks. Go ahead, give it a try. Here's the answers to those questions. For number 1, we would say, I'm sorry, I don't have any. You can see that this is a negative statement. It has don't. So you're saying, I haven't got even one. Number 2, I went to buy some oranges at the shop. Number 3, she will make some more friends at school. Number 4, there aren't any bikes available to rent. And number 5, have you got more soup? Yes, there's some in the kitchen. You can see that in this last example, the word soup is not repeated. We just say some, because we already know that soup is the thing we are talking about. We can also use any and some to make questions. When we use any in a question, we are asking if there is something. So we're not asking if there is 1 or 2 or 3. We're just asking generally if there is something. Here's some examples. Have you got any eggs? Do you have any children? Are there any allergies in your family? We can also use some in a question, and there's a few different reasons we might do this. Number 1, if we're offering something to someone, we might say a question like this: would you like some coffee? We're not saying how much we will give, but some allows us to offer them an undisclosed amount of coffee. The second reason we might use it is if we are requesting something. For example, we might say, could I have some salt, please? Or, would you pass me some napkins, please? You could say, could you pass me 1 napkin, please? But some is used if we're not going to be specific about the number. A third reason we might use some in a question is if you're making a suggestion. For example, we could say, how about we cook some spaghetti tonight? Or, why don't you give her some advice? Because we're not being specific about how much, we could use some in questions like these. Take a look at these 2 very similar questions. We could ask someone, would you like some coffee or tea? This is a specific and limited question. We only gave 2 choices, coffee or tea. But we could ask a similar question. Would you like anything to drink? This is an open question. Any answer is possible. Of course, you might ask for something that I don't have, but the question allows for many possible answers. Let's take a look at some words we can add to the end of any and some. These words will change it into a noun, but also show what kind of thing we're talking about. If we add thing on the end of any or some, it means we're talking about some kind of noun. If we add one or body on the end, we're talking about a person. If we add time, we're talking about a time. And if we add where, we're talking about a place. Here's some example sentences. First of all, some. Please say something. Someone will help. Let's meet sometime. I left my bag somewhere. We can also use it with any to talk about a group of things. Don't forget anything. I can't see anyone. You can't just come anytime. I can't find it anywhere. And we can use it for the other meaning of any as well, to mean that it doesn't matter. Please say anything. Anyone can help. We can go anytime. Or He can live anywhere. Now you try. Fill in the blanks in these sentences with something or somebody, anything or anybody. Go ahead, give it a try. Here's the answers to those questions. Number 1. She said something, but I didn't understand. Number 2. It was all so expensive that I didn't buy anything. Number 3. I'm looking for my keys. Has anybody seen them? Number 4. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Number 5. Do you know anything about fixing bikes? And number 6. Somebody left their glasses behind. Here's a conversation using these words. Would anyone like another drink? I'll take some juice. I don't know what kinds they have. Do you have any preferences? I'll take any kind, just not anything with bubbles. Could you ask for some napkins? Somebody took mine. So that's some kind of juice and some napkins. I'll be right back. Here you can see how any and some are being used in this conversation. Thanks for studying with me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Goodbye!